Audio Jungle.
Today we will be discussing the role of autonomic nervous system in the pathophysiology of autoimmune disorders such as rheumatoid arthritis. What is known is that rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune disorder. That is, the immune system of the body acts against the body. But what is the role of the nervous system over here? So there have been studies in the past where we've looked at cases where the person probably had a stroke and had a paralysis of half the body, and he did not go on to develop symptoms of rheumatoid arthritis on the paralyzed side. We came to a logical conclusion that the nervous system has an important role to play over here, so that the immune system is able to cause the symptoms and signs of rheumatoid arthritis. Now, what we have come up in our study is that the distribution of the autonomic nervous system is very important for the presentation of the disease. So first I'll discuss a bit about the autonomic nervous system. Autonomic nervous system is divided into two basic parts, parasympathetic and the sympathetic. And as we know, the parasympathetic has a craniosacral distribution. That is, the parasympathetic nerves arise from the craniocervical region of the spinal cord and the sacral region of the spinal cord. And the thoracolumbar region is responsible for the sympathetic output. If we look at the extension of the autonomic nervous system in the body tissues such as the gastrointestinal system, it is the enteric nervous system which is the extension, and it is similarly divided into three parts: the foregut, midgut and the hindgut. So the foregut is supplied by the cranial region, the midgut by the thoracolumbar sympathetic region and the hindgut by the sacral parasympathetic region. So now let's focus on certain of the distribution of diseases in the gastrointestinal system. So we are looking at the inflammatory bowel diseases, which are Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. As we know, ulcerative colitis occurs in the foregut and the hindgut region, which is the craniosacral parasympathetic distribution. And the Crohn's can occur in any region, but the midgut region is specific for the Crohn's, which is the sympathetic region. Now, what is more interesting is that smoking has a protective effect on ulcerative colitis, which is in the parasympathetic region, and it has a deleterious effect on the Crohn's disease. So, considering that smoking is a sympathetic stimuli, it is actually protecting the disease in the parasympathetic distribution, but it is aggravating the disease in the sympathetic distribution. Another example can be colon cancer. Colon cancer has two presentations according to which area it is present in, right colon or the left colon. And as we know, left colon is hindgut and the right colon is the midgut. So the left colon cancer is more common in men. It is associated with familial adenomatous polyposis and it has a obstructive presentation. While the right colon cancer is commoner in females, it's associated with HNPCC and it has a ulcerative presentation, which means that bleeding is usually the first presentation in right side colon cancer. So these are two common examples as how different autonomic innervations can have different presentation in the disease. So another example is from the vascular system. Now, analogy of the enteric nervous system is the nervi vasorum in this thing, which is extension of the autonomic nervous system. It is again divided into three parts. First part is from the ascending aorta up to the left subclavian artery. Second part is from the left subclavian to the renal artery, and the third part is the infrarenal aorta. So the first part corroborates to foregut, second part to the midgut, third part to the hindgut, and they have the same autonomic innervation as in the craniosacral and the thoracolumbar. And we know that certain diseases occur only in the first part, such as Takayasu arthritis. Second, aneurysms and atherosclerosis is commoner in the first and the third parts, but not in the second part. Another interesting fact is that the collagen elastin ratio of the aorta, it is 1:2 in the suprarenal aorta, and it changes drastically at the level of the renal artery to 2:1 in the infrarenal aorta. So this is a very interesting example of how different autonomic innervation can lead to different pathophysiological changes in the body. So this is the first part of our findings. In the next part, we will be discussing how this autonomic nervous system interacts with the endocrine system to influence the immune system.